Hey, this is Charles Draven, and lately I've been thinking a lot about practicing gratitude. There are a lot of pressures in our lives. Most people I know go through a lifetime of challenges. And so thinking about all the things that you're grateful for, it really helps, especially just balance out that mindset. And I started thinking about my grandparents, and they were very tough when I was younger. At the time, I didn't quite appreciate it. I was just thinking, gosh, they are pushing me to do all this manual labor, to do all these things that I didn't enjoy as a child and later on, even as a young adult. And I realized that a lot of the things that they did for me, it helped me out along the way. So here today, I have this title for my video, Grandparents' Tough Love Sparked My Entrepreneurial Journey. So one of the things that I want to provide to you to help you out in building your business, a lot of people come here because they're trying to find a way to become financially free, how to earn extra income. And so if you stay till the end, if you watch this entire video, I will provide you with a free gift. And this is something that is focused on a passive income framework that I use. So if you're into making some additional income, check it out. Who am I? Well, my name is Charles Draven, and I run this channel called InfoSpike TV. It's dedicated to helping you make bank online using just simple business processes. I like to keep it simple. And I've been building my business from Silicon Valley for close to a decade now. So hopefully you'll be able to learn from a lot of my wisdom because I was struggling in my traditional business as a financial consultant. I wanted to build up my business more by using more passive strategies and by just looking online, doing research, just like a lot of people out there, finding ways to make money online. It was tough because a lot of stuff out there doesn't work. So finally, I settled on something that is very simple, something that works, and that's what I share on my channel. And let's start talking about grandparents' self-love. I know that uh, people will go through life. There's going to be a lot of things, especially with a family. Some people will learn their lesson early on. I think it took a while for me to learn my lesson that whether it's your mom and dad or your grandparents giving you a hard time, there are things that you could learn from that. And you could either think, gosh, they caused all this hardship in my life, or they did this because they really wanted to do something that was beneficial for me. And so when I was very young, I just remember right before high school, I just remember them having me do just tons and tons of hard labor, doing work around their house. I would travel to Southern California and just hang out with my grandparents. And I thought, gosh, I'm going on the family trip. But instead, I started doing a lot of manual labor. And so I think that just all these different lessons in life, you got to think about how can this connect to my current life? Like I'm an entrepreneur. What lessons did I learn from these hardships? Because with anything that's very rough and tough in your life, there's a lesson to gain from it. So, for example, my family, my grandparents, they couldn't afford a lot. So they really encouraged me to be creative around the house. They had me do a lot of hard work, and that kind of goes into what I'm talking about here. I'm Asian, and back then I felt like they brought some things from their home country that was very labor intensive, and I was just thinking, gosh, that was the kind of stuff that they did back then, but do we really need to do it now? So, for example, cleaning the house, it wasn't the typical way. Even here in America, I remember they would have like coconut husk. I think that's what they call it, the outside of the coconut, and that would be used to clean the floors. They would have a broom that had bristles that came from some kind of organic tree, and I would just have to do a lot of cleaning around the house. And it reminded me when I had my first job in the restaurant industry, where my boss told me, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. And so I was thinking, gosh, I wish I could hang out, go to the mall, have fun. I did do a lot of that, but at the same time, they really kept me hard working. And then I think that just thinking about that, I think that it's a very good thing to actually work hard, especially when you're younger. And these kind of things, you learn how to build up that persistency and that perseverance to work hard and hopefully get a result from it. So, just an example, I was actually watching something on YouTube earlier today, and this one guy was talking about living in Japan. He's lived there for a long time, and they asked him if he'd want to allow allow his kids to live there and raise his kids over there. And he's an American, he's not Japanese. And so he was saying things like he didn't want his kids to live in Japan because it's so safe over there that once they go into a place like in America, especially in a metropolitan area, they will think about all those safe things and they won't be prepared for the bad things that happen. And so with that, for example, just even dealing with things in a subway, people dealing with rough talk, people pickpocketing. He came from New York City, and so yeah, I kind of agree with that. I realize that if people are just having the time of their lives from they're like a kid and they don't get to do all the typical adult things and be responsible for all those things. It's very tough for them to understand what it means to be a responsible person, to work hard and have that dedication. So enough of my rant there, but that was all something based on a YouTube video that I watched. So customer focus, getting feedback. My grandparents would tell me, they would scold me and tell me, gosh, and you need to do this. You didn't do this good enough. And gosh, they're just complaining all the time, They're never happy. But then I realized that in the real world, when you are working with clients, with customers, even if you're an affiliate, you have to understand that your processes become better with feedback. You have to be able to appreciate the feedback that you get and turn it around for your benefit to actually improve what you're doing. Whatever feedback you get, you have to think about how can I use that to make improvements. So if you're online, how can you make improvements to your marketing messages, whether that's on social media, your web pages, on YouTube? What can you improve upon? So if you have feedback for me, if you want to leave a comment below, do so. I'll appreciate it. Of course, I'll try to be professional and respectful. And then also, yeah, even with the information that I provide, the gifts that I provide, the bonuses I provide, please provide feedback. I'm actually looking very forward into getting feedback from anyone that has tried to benefit from my material. You've gone to this video, you've watched it so far to gain some benefit. So let me know. Adaptability, facing challenges, um, pretty much being resilient and being able to understand how to be innovative. When you face challenges, you have to figure out what can I do to improve what I did. You could have that feedback, but what if you don't have all the feedback? Being able to adapt, being able to have that kind of innovative mindset, being able to come up with solutions that can rapidly improve that process, that is something that is part of the hustle. It's something that will help you out. Instead of expecting everyone else, your coach, your mentor, the person you bought a product from, to do all the work for you. There's still a learning process, especially because all of our intricate differences in our personalities, we all have something to bring to the table, and we all have whether it's insecurities, our lack of education, lack of experience that influence our growth in the future. So everyone, no matter if you get the same material, it can lead to a different result. It's like my brother and I living in the same household, growing up in a somewhat similar way where our parents taught us similar ideas, kind of rules to live by, but we could come out differently. So that applies to online marketing as well. So what can you do to improve on that and that ability to adapt, change, look at your analytics, taking that feedback to adapt and improve what you have? That is actually something that is useful here. And financial independence. Because we have limited resources, then, of course, we were always trying to look for special ways to make more money. Entrepreneurship is one way. Some people will just dive into investing. People in their jobs will just focus on their 401k and maybe some external investments and real estate investing. So many different ways to invest. Also, timeline. Everyone has a different timeline. But at least you have that inspiration, that goal, that motivation to learn more, to actually invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge, and invest your time into building a business online. I think that is a very big step. A lot of people will dabble into internet business ideas. They'll perhaps buy a course, buy a program, an opportunity, and then they'll dabble in it and they will figure out, gosh, you know what, this stuff, it's not what I'm used to. Of course, it's not what you're used to. You're not used to. It's because it's not a job. It's not what you used to do in the past, and it's going to get a different result for you in the future. That's a hope. You go into a program, a coaching program, a business program, whatever it is, and you're seeking something that will, of course, be beneficial for you, something that will create extreme transformation in your life, whether that's financially, spiritually, mentally, whatever it is that you're seeking. In order to get to that point, you have to transform yourself. And by transforming yourself, you're going to have to do things that you are not used to. Same thing with financial independence. There has to be some kind of give and take. You're going to have to put something into it, whether it's money, your time, energy, and then that's when you reap the benefits. It's very tough to reap the benefits unless you win the lotto, unless you get an inheritance, unless you become lucky. But if you want to have control over your life, I don't have control over the lotto. So I am taking steps that are different from a lot of people in this society to actually become financial independence. And hopefully, you are on that same kind of boat, wanting to do the same because you're here. You're here for a reason. Value creation. Thinking about ways to make my grandparents happy. Um, of course, all these people in our lives, you could remember tough times. You could remember times where people are extremely ecstatic, smiling at you, happy. And just thinking as a kid, I always wanted to make my grandparents happy, make my relatives in general happy. And that taught me that, of course, with this type of childhood that I had, doing work around the home, doing a lot of manual labor, not like I was working a sweatshop or anything, but I realized that by doing this, I'm actually contributing. And that contribution can be seen as value creation. So if you are wanting to be a content creator, you'll have to understand what does it take to create value. The thing is, it's not about the value that's in your head. It's not about what you want. It's what other people want. And so you have to think about that. How can you make it a win-win situation? But when you're creating value, you have to make sure that your goal is to help the other person win. And then eventually, hopefully, you'll win along the way. But with value creation, it is highly focused on your audience. So keep that in mind. And then long-term vision. Um, just growing up, my grandparents would always talk to me about my studies, making sure that I would go to a university, graduate, get good grades, and they really, really put that in me. And it's not just about graduating from school; it's about having a better future. It's about having a future that's better than the life that they lived, especially growing up during wartime, especially growing up in a country that had a lot of hardships. Coming here to America, where at the time it was seen as a land of opportunity. People from where they came from felt that money grew on trees here in America. So the thing is that they always had this long-term vision for me. And what you have to have as you build your business, you have to think about it as a long-term strategy. Of course, having short-term results is awesome. Having results in the next few hours, next few days, overnight, coming weeks, coming months, and then into the following year, that's all awesome. But what will help you be more sustainable to actually create long-term income is having that long-term vision. It's kind of like reminds me of weight loss. I had a friend that told me that he's going to try to lose weight for a wedding party, and that was coming up in months. And then if he didn't hit his goal, then he would just give up. The thing is that weight loss, it's not just about getting ready for a party. It's not just getting ready for the short term. It's something where you have to do it for your overall health. And for me, trying to build a business, working on building a business, it is something that helps with my health. It is something that helps me with my mindset, helps me make enough money so I can feed my family and not have stress that can kill you. So there are a lot of different things. I know I'm kind of being kind of extreme, but a lot of these things where people might say that money is not something that you should focus on. You shouldn't try to focus on accumulating wealth or money's evil or whatever some people think. The thing is that in our life, we can prepare for what we have. And if you're spiritual, you can give for what you want to have at a spiritual level. You could help out more people. There are so many people around the world that you could help if you had more money. That's a fact, in my opinion. So if you are trying to follow this as well, trying to have this idea of more gratitude, I have a tip. Um, this is just what I just did. Reflect on the lessons, learn from those who shaped your journey. Whether it's tough love from your grandparents, your parents, your mentors, their guidance can often ignite your passion and resilience. You just got to think more deeply about these lessons and think about things that were negative and how you could turn it around into a positive lesson. So earlier I talked about a pinned comment, or the passive income framework that I use. So that's where you'll find it. You'll find it in the first pinned comment. Check it out. It's something that I feel can be highly beneficial for your life. There are a lot of trainings that you can get access to. There are things, even tools that you could potentially get access to. So the first step is checking out my passive income framework that I personally use. And I want to thank you for watching. I hope this video inspired you to see how grandparents tough love, or your parents tough love, or your family members, whoever's giving you tough love, can spark your entrepreneurial journey. And in my lifetime, whether it's been affiliate marketing, digital marketing, selling digital products, and all the other endeavors that I've taken to build up my business, I believe that all these tough experiences have helped me and shaped me to become who I am. So thank you for watching.